Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast in a game between aAA's Nerchio versus Lucifron here on Shakuras Plateau. One of the reasons why I wanted to cast this particular game was I saw Lucifron, and anytime I see a well-known Warcraft 3 player starting to make the transition into StarCraft 2, since I originally was a Warcraft 3 caster, I definitely want to see how their skills translate over. I played a lot more Warcraft 3 than StarCraft back in the day. Just because I knew I could never compete with the Koreans, and hey, I'm Chinese, so yeah, yes, I'm Asian. Yeah, Chinese, very into Warcraft 3, while the rest of the world was just watching StarCraft and StarCraft 2. Anyways, we can see Lucifron spawning as the green Terran player here on the right side of the map, bottom right-hand side. Meanwhile, Nerchio spawning as the red Zerg on the bottom left-hand side of the map. So this will be Zerg versus Terran, a matchup you guys are all pretty familiar with. 1 in 6 matchups are like this. Anyways, getting straight into the game. I think it's 1 in 6. Hopefully I'm not misquoting any of my calculations already. So anyways, yeah, Nerchio versus Lucifron, Shakuras Plateau, Terran versus Zerg, and we'll see what strategies will be employed by both players. We are going in for a low ground barracks, so this is rather interesting to have the supply depot built up here. We can see perhaps a second barracks could be placed down in just a moment. SCV production is being slowed down, so it will be a nice double racks on the front door. There you go. Meanwhile, we are going to be going for that early hatchery by Nerchio. Nerchio going for that early hatchery. A lot of damage could be dealt. I believe this drone will scout this out in just a moment, as we may be going in for a triple racks. No, it is not going to be a triple barracks at all. This overlord slowly making its way over will quickly come across, see the glowing minerals, and this one drone will change directions and now head south. And to see everything that a Zerg player doesn't want to see, knowing that he is going to have to cut drone production just a little bit in order to deal with all of these Marines, which will be coming out in just a moment. You can see now one SCV coming up the ramp. Will it perhaps try to build a bunker? Here is the key question. It could easily build a bunker right here just outside of sight range. Now already getting some damage onto this one hatchery. The hatchery taking a little bit of damage. A drone now making its way over, and the drone's going to perhaps start zapping away at this SCV. SCV versus a drone. It is almost a tie now, as the natural regeneration on the drone should help it. We can now see a drone now trying to pull itself away. Will it be able to get home? I do not think so. That one SCV getting the kill, and now the two SCVs doing some SCV love, repairing each other before they're going to head up here. So yeah, SCVs love SCVs, both healing each other there. And now we are going to have a Marine versus a whole bunch of drones. And will that drone perhaps surround that Marine? It looks like we are going to have a little bit of a flank there. Once again, 6 more drones, or 7 drones, not engaging, not mining. This is going to be a problem, as those drones are now losing a lot of resources just by not mining there. And one drone may get taken down, another drone may get taken down. Oh yes, 2 drones now taken down already, as the Marines are going after those units. SCVs now trying to pull back. Zerglings engaging in on that fight. The SCVs need to pull back. They are going to get destroyed. So 2 SCVs versus 2 drones already. The Marines continuing to pull back here. It looks like the Zerglings will get taken down, and this one spine crawler is about to be completed. Perhaps going to go after even more of those units. Both sides continuing to battle it out. More Zerglings getting destroyed, and it looks as though this spine crawler will complete just in time. And a spine crawler with a natural armor of 2 is able to fend off Marines pretty easily, as the Marines now run home with their what I guess their rifles between their legs, and knowing that they did not deal the true economic damage that they wanted to. 17 SCVs versus 15 drones. We are getting 2-3 drones now being trained, but however, there are no queens coming in from Nerchio, so Nerchio may end up falling behind. The production power of Lucifron a little bit better here. He will be able to train up more Marines. He is about to get this one command center up and running as well, so he should be able to macro up a strong enough army and also stay ahead in terms of drone count for a little while longer, unless we see Nerchio only getting a lot of drones and not getting any more Zerglings to balance this out. We are going to have a couple of Zerglings destroyed here. Zerglings now moving off to the north, 5 of them. moving off to the north, as we now see a dozen Marines making their way forward, and this dozen Marine army may be able to deal a lot of damage. I do not believe that Nerchio was actually expecting another dozen Marines or so, and there is not that much of an army coming back. You can now see the Marines now trying to come in, and there we go, going after the Queen first. The Queen production is going to get taken down, now going after the Spine Crawler. Spine Crawler is getting low on hit points, and now you can see the drones starting to take a lot of damage as well. The Marines shooting back up that ramp, trying to limit the amount of damage, and down goes that Spine Crawler as well. Things are not looking good. Nerchio continued to power drone. He did not have a license to drone, as we still saw a lot of Marines now coming in. The Marines are now going after drones, getting in a lot of damage, and now trying to make sure that they are up against the wall in a very, very tight situation. The drones are not going to be able to get that much damage in at all, and Zerglings now trying to engage. Drones still getting picked apart, and these Marines, even though they are going to get destroyed and get completely destroyed in this exchange, Nerchio has lost a lot of workers. 18 workers now down. And wow, what an exchange there. Nerchio now significantly behind. Finally, some Terran that know how to abuse the race. So Nerchio, very, very, very much saying that, I guess Lucifron abusing that race. They're just following up with additional Marines, and Lucifron with a very comfortable lead. You can see him. He can call down more mules. He has the economic advantage. He has gas. He has the factory. Now getting into Blue Flame Hellions and going into another factory as well. So this is a great lead for Lucifron. Will he be able to continue it? That is the key question. We are now getting a starport as well. It looks like we could be getting a Blue Flame Hellion drop. It takes 50 seconds to train up the starport, 43 seconds, I believe, to drain up that medevac. So we should have 4 Hellions already on the move. As soon as this starport is done, that Blue Flame research should be completed. Sitting at 48/54, production tab does show another supply depot, so we will not be supply blocked. Meanwhile, a Roach Warren also coming in, so that Roach Warren going to be very, very key as well, as a medevac should be trained if my Spider Sense is telling me yes, or I guess my SCV or StarCraft Sense is telling me it is going to be a Blue Flame Hellion drop. The Hellion's now going to perhaps poke up that ramp, and there is no Spine Crawler here at all. These Hellions looking to deal a lot of damage. That Blue Flame research almost done, but it's not going to be done just quite yet. Perhaps abusing the range, or using that range and just continuing to slash onto that Queen. Lucifrons and Hellions do need to do a little bit of round robin in order to make sure that they not only one takes all that damage, but that Blue Flame research is now done, as more Marines coming in from behind. This is going to be a lot of damage, folks. Roaches now coming in to engage. Marines now coming back over as well. It looks like the Marines are going to go after those Roaches. Hellions going after the Zerglings. The Hellions now dealing even more damage. It looks like these Zerglings will be able to finish off over here, and Roaches finished off over here. So nicely done by Nerchio. In order to stay in this game, we can see that a medevac is joining the party just a little bit late. A Queen now going to be coming over in order to shoo it away. It looks as though there are going to be a couple of Hellions, a bunker now being placed down, in addition to tech labs and reactors adding to this. So now Lucifron going to follow this up with perhaps a Marine and Hellion drop. That should be very, very successful. Marines and Hellions battling against those Roaches. A couple Marauders would also round out the rest of that army as well. You can see these 2 Hellions looking to see, come on, there's room in the cargo bay. And there you go. Lucifron now returning home for these 2 Hellions. And now it looks like it will be a 4 Hellion drop, but Nerchio already suspecting this and should be able to turn this around. Hatchery is about to be upgraded to tier 2. Hydralisk and Mutalisk could be coming into play. But it feels like Lucifron isn't really capitalizing on his advantage nearly as much as I would like to see. The Hellions will be dropping in here and now running straight into a group of Roaches. That is no good, and now picked back up. You can see Roaches down here on the low ground as well. And this is just not looking all too good at all. Lucifron now going to finally try to come in with these Hellions. The Hellions now going to be able to torch in some of those drones. Some drones already down. Even more drones getting torched down. But these 2 buildings in a very nice position, preventing any drive-by. And it looks like the Roaches will not be able to take down the rest of those 2 Hellions. Lucifron should be able to definitely repair these units. And now, Roaches, one of the units that a lot of Zerg players in the past say were not that effective against Terran, have definitely seen a new light after a lot of Marine and Hellion play. But now we are transitioning into tanks. Tanks, the sure answer to roaches. Roaches tend to clump up together. They are armored units, and because the tanks also have a range of 13, they're able to get off 2, perhaps even 3 shots on unupgraded roaches, which really severely limits the amount of damage they do. These supply depots need to definitely be lowered in order to make it down the ramp. Are they going to be lowered? Lucifron, come on. Be the smart player. I know you are. And there you go. 3 siege tanks, marines, a stim pack about to be completed. No research on combat shield. A little bit strange there. And a lot more marines can still be added. You can now see roaches are engaging, but the roaches are just purely on move. And Nerchio simply giving this game back to Lucifron. That was a horrible, horrible mistake there by Nerchio. Lucifron definitely capitalizing on this. We can see that the pathogen gland's about halfway completed. We should see some roaches now being added, or sorry, some infestors now being added as well, as there are now 4 medevacs in the air. Roaches trying to engage. The marines do have stim, so they should be able to clear this out. The siege tanks are going to start hop, skipping, and jumping their way through and forward. As the siege tanks get in position, these 2 siege tanks in a siege up. This one siege tank going to most likely unsiege here as the battle now rages on. Lucifron with marauders and marines. This siege tank deciding to go very, very far back as the marines and the marauders are now simply just going to be pushing up that ramp instead. More marines and marauders here as well. What is going to be happening? Both sides now engaging, and the siege tanks are starting to blast apart their own units. The siege tanks very, very far and very, very deep here. Lucifron finishing off the rest of these roaches. The marines can simply stim back. Lucifron not really capitalizing on the use of his tanks though, so a little bit of slippage there in terms of overall micro, but still doing a great job continuing this pressure and this push. An infestor now going to come in from behind, a fungal growth hitting a lot of those marines, but there are a lot of medevacs in the air to keep these units up and running, and there is the GG coming in from Nerchio. Lucifron taking this game. Very, very impressive play here by Lucifron. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned for Game 2.